Understanding appositives in English grammar. Appositive phrases. Appositives are words or groups of words that serve the purpose of renaming or describing a noun. They can be nouns or noun phrases that give more detailed information about a noun in a sentence, coming directly after the nouns they provide additional information about. That is, appositives follow the nouns they describe directly in a sentence. Take for example, John the Lance Corporal is a very good friend of mine. The Lance Corporal, in the example above, is an appositive, or more specifically, an appositive phrase. This is because it describes the noun, John, in the sentence. Without the information it provides, we would not be able to identify which John it is that the speaker refers to as their very good friend. To illustrate this point, John is a very good friend of mine. This example can be considered ambiguous, especially if the person being addressed by the speaker is acquainted with a number of persons who go by the name John. But by adding an appositive to the sentence, the Lance Corporal, the reference becomes more specific, and now we would be more certain which John is being addressed since we have additional information about him. Appositives can exist in two forms, as proper nouns, and as noun phrases. As proper nouns, appositives can be employed when the noun used in a sentence is a common noun in order to describe the noun in more detail. That is, proper nouns can be used as appositives to give more information about a common noun used in a sentence. Some examples include, the King, Julian V, was a great man. My teacher Mr. Ezekiel teaches the English grammar very well. Those students Matthew, Maxwell and Mark have similar names. The dinner Scotch egg and pizza doesn't seem like a healthy meal. Coach, the school's most disciplined personnel, is surprisingly jovial. You can see from the examples that all the nouns being described by their corresponding appositives are all common nouns. That is, nouns that do not name specific entities, and so the appositives that follow them simply serve the purpose of specifying the nouns in their respective sentences. As noun phrases, appositives in the form of noun phrases are simply noun phrases that serve the purpose of describing nouns in sentences. That is, noun phrases that add more detail, or give more information about a noun in a sentence. Some examples include, Mark the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Lamesville will be at the party. Benita the backbencher has started improving on her academics. Melvin Gordon the superwriter is beginning to lose his Midas touch. Alfonso the kind-hearted king has become a tyrant. From the examples, you would observe that all the nouns being described by noun phrases in the sentences, respectively, are all proper nouns. The phrases accompanying them simply serve the purpose of specifying them, especially in cases where there are more than one persons who go by the same name. That is, to be able to identify who exactly is being referred to out of a number of persons bearing the same name. Another category that is also recognized in appositives is the restricted and non-restricted noun phrase appositive category. Restricted noun phrase appositives are noun phrases functioning as appositives which cannot be removed from the sentences in which they occur, because they are not bound to it by commas. Here is an example to illustrate this. George, the lad of the jungle, hops from tree to tree. George, the noun, and the lad of the jungle, the noun phrase appositive, are written together in the sentence and not separated by commas. This indicates that the information provided by the appositive is crucial to the meaning of the sentence, and such the sentence would fail to create the desired meaning of the speaker if it were absent from the sentence. The appositive is essential to the understanding of which George is being referred to in the example. Other examples include, Melbourne, a city in Florida, is a nice place. My country, the giant of Africa, is a fertile nation. Non-restricted noun phrase appositives are noun phrases functioning as appositives that are not restricted to the sentences in which they appear. This is indicated by their separation from the other elements of structure in the sentence by commas. Also, it implies that the meaning of the sentence would not be truncated in the absence of such appositives. Take for example, Matthew, the tall senior, is coming this way. You would have observed that the tall senior is marked off from the rest of the sentence by 2 commas, which means it is expendable, and its exclusion will not ruin the meaning expressed by the sentence. And, there, Matthew, in question is very likely to be identified as the one being referred to in the sentence without extra information or details about him. Other examples include, denim, the popular jeans brand, is still very active today. Papaya, my favorite fruit, is loaded with lots of nutrients. One unique feature of appositives is that they can stand in place of the nouns they describe and still express complete thoughts. They can serve as substitutes for nouns. Take for example, John the cobbler is my friend. The cobbler is my friend. Both sentences are both meaningful and grammatical, which proves the point stated above. So appositives are words, proper nouns, or groups of words, noun phrases, that serve the purpose of specifying, describing and identifying nouns in a sentence. There, groups of words that serve as appositives in a sentence may be bound to the sentence, or not, as indicated by the presence of commas that mark them off from such sentences. Using appositives correctly in sentences can help to ensure clarity and coherence in writings. See you soon.